Good evening, students. Today we will start our next lesson, and that is the Hanuman and Bhim. Actually, at first I sent a video, but it is corrupted. So again, I am making a new video for you. In the ancient time, various types of Vedas were written. In that, various types of gods and goddesses were mentioned. Prince, kings were also mentioned. Their bravery studies also we are studying now or learning now. In this story, we will see the what type of kings, queens, princes were enjoying. Even devils and demons were also there. What kind they were doing. Now we will see. But before that, listen that nice song.
Come, let us all go to the world of long, long, long ago. To meet the kings and queens of a land and play with the prince and princesses. Let's marvel at the powerful gods and hear about the Rakshasas. Let's take a trip and sit on a ship and go to the land of long, long ago. Long, long ago. Long, long ago. Long, long ago.
Long, long ago, in the age king called Shantanu. King Shantanu and his wife Queen Satyavati had two children. Their names were Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya had two queens named Ambika and Ambalika. Ambika bore a son called Dhritarashtra, who was born blind, and Ambalika bore a son called Pandu, who was weak and brave. Dhritarashtra was married to Gandhari and Pandu was married to Kunti. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, whereas Pandu and Kunti had 5 sons. Dhritarashtra's sons were called Kauravas and Pandu's sons were called Pandavas. This is the story about Bhima, one of the 5 sons of Pandu and Kunti. There existed a fierce rivalry between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. In one such incident, the Kauravas defeated the Pandavas in a game of dice, and as a result, the Pandavas had to give up their wealth and glory and live in the forest for 13 long years with their wife, Draupadi.
And one day, the life in the jungle was too much difficult. But Draupadi looked one day, Draupadi looked after the needs of the 5 brothers and they all lived happily. But one day a gentle breeze blew over the forest, bringing the scent of an uncommon flower, which was looked by Draupadi, and she pleased by that flower. Sighed the beautiful Draupadi as she breathed in the sweet perfume. Then she said to Bhima, I must have those flowers. And she requested to Bhima for that. Then Bhima replied, do you expect me to go in search of that some city flowers? But whenever he looked towards Draupadi, then he convinced his mind and he walked in search of that flower because he could not see her unhappy. He wandered everywhere, even he saw various types of trees, but he could not find that pleasant flower which pleased Draupadi. Then he remembered about his past, how he defeated various wild animals, how he defeated Rakshasas, and he knew that he should walk in the direction from which the wind blew. Then he realized that he had that much strength by which he could defeat anybody. Then, by remembering that all the things, he became happy. He thought that he was the most powerful man in the world. No one could defeat him. In this, you can see how easily he defeated to that wild elephant by holding its trunk. All the animals were just ran from one place to another, and that elephant was just defeated by Bhima. By remembering all this, he became happy. You can just see in that image how he enjoying with his gada. Even the lightning also shocked. But after that, he started to walk in search of that prettiest flower. What was his aim? To bring that flowers for Draupadi. He was on his path. He was trying to find a way to reach towards that flowers plants. Then he saw his image in the lake. And he started to swim in that water, trying to reach towards that garden to bring that flower for his beloved wife Draupadi. He enjoyed, he was happy with his winning, but at the same time, Lord Hanuman, who was seeing what was done by Bhima, then he wanted to bring him on the earth, because that was the misunderstanding of him, that he was the most powerful man of the earth. So he decided to make him realize the reality. Then he decided to disguise, as per he was thinking that Bhima was his brother. Then he disguised himself in a huge monkey, and as much as possible he just spreaded his tail on the path of Bhim, and he was waiting for Bhim, because after trudging for many miles, Bhima came to a beautiful garden. Suddenly he saw an old monkey on the ground right across his path, blocking his way. Slowly he was coming by remembering all these things, and that monkey was snoring so loudly by that the whole forest was thundering. That snoring was a thundering sound by which Bhim tried to come towards that monkey. Then suddenly he saw a monkey was sleeping on his path, and his tail was there. Then he started to laugh by listening his snoring and looking at that sleeping monkey. Then he said, "What is this silly monkey doing?" He thought to himself, and he tried to shoo it away, but the monkey lay still. "Didn't you hear me?" said Bhima. "Move out of my way before I do something to you." Monkey slowly opened his one eye and then the other, looked at Bhima up and down. And what he replied? I'm too old, I have no strength to move, said the monkey. Why don't you walk around me and move on? What he said? If you have that much strength to defeat that various types of animals, then why don't you move my tail? Bhima drew himself haughtily and standing tall and straight. Have you heard of Might Bhima? The great Pandava, I am he. I always walk a straight path. I never admit defeat, said Bhima. Monkey looked unimpressed. I am old and sick. Besides, your big talk makes me laugh. You say never admit defeat. What happened to you when the Kauravas drove you out of your kingdom? Ha! Never admit defeat, mocked the monkey. The Bhima said, stop talking nonsense, shouted the angry Bhima. You are a silly monkey that jumps from one tree to another. What do you know about losing a kingdom? People would only laugh at me. And after that, he tried to move the tail of monkey, but that was not possible for him because it was too much heavy. Then what he said? Suppose your tail snaps. Suppose your club breaks in two. Snapped back the monkey means what? What is said ki what is your tail is not moving means there is something happened with your tail. Same way monkey replied that something is happened to your club means to your power. Now Bhima was furious. If he could not easily put the tail of monkey, then that will be the defeat for him. But the tail was not ready to move. Then he realized that something is there in that monkey. He is not a normal monkey. And then what? This call means he became frightened, and he was requesting to that monkey again and again that he could try by using his more and more strength. You can just see how Bhima was using his strength to pull that tail, but that was not possible for him. Then he realized that monkey should be a Rakshasa or demon, but then afterwards he realized that who is he? Then he requested to monkey that show his reality to Bhima. Then Lord Hanuman just present in front of him and smiling himself. I am no devil, nor do I have magical powers. I am Hanuman, a servant of the great Lord Ram who killed Ravan. So saying, the monkey got up and grew into huge form of Lord Hanuman. Then he showed his real physical powers to Hanuman. Then slowly he turned into a huge form of Lord Hanuman as per the request of Bhim, the Pandava, one of the greatest Pandava. And the astonished Bhim could only stand and stare. And then he said, forgive me, please. How could I challenge the mighty Lord Hanuman? Said the red-faced Hanuman. And afterwards, by looking towards the reality of Hanuman, he started to laugh. He thought himself a luckiest one because he could see the Lord Hanuman. Then he replied to Hanuman, I have been wanting to meet you for a long time. I saw you coming. I blocked your path deliberately so that I could talk to you and get to know you. Bhim, the rest was all in fun. Forget about it since we are friends now. Then they met together, and afterwards Hanuman guided him to go towards the land of that garden, towards Kubera, and he disappeared. Bhim now told Lord Hanuman the reason for his journey. Lord Hanuman laughed. And afterwards, Bhim started to walk and walk and walk. Lord Hanuman just told him that you have to be careful whenever you are just going to pick flowers for your wife. And afterwards, he told him that there will be no delay for you no further. And afterwards, he continued his journey, and at last he came to the place. Beautiful garden with a lake inside it. The flowers grew in the lake. The garden and the lake belonged to Kubera, the richest man on earth. He had an army there to guard the flowers. In the lake were hundreds of fierce-looking crocodiles guarding the flowers. And afterwards, he saw the flowers, and he tried to pluck, but the soldiers did not allow him. Then he requested again that I only want one flower. But the soldiers were really arrogant, so they did not listen the request of Bhim, and they started to fight with Bhim. In that fight, Bhim defeated all the soldiers because they did not permit him to take at least pluck one flower. He warned them, but they did not listen because they had misunderstanding about their powers. They did not have any idea about Bhim. They thought Bhim was a thief. But they all defeated by Bhim. But they defeated by Bhim, and Lord Kubera just came there, and he permitted to Bhima to take flowers as much he want. And afterwards he took that flowers in his hand for his dearest wife, and he started again his journey towards his house. Bhima returned home. He gave the delighted Draupadi the flowers she had longed for, and Draupadi was thrilled to have those rare flowers, and Bhima was satisfied that he had made Draupadi so happy just because offering that precious flower which she wanted. By facing that all the efforts, but by the guidance of Hanuman, he could easily catch that flowers. Students, here we have completed the story once again. Already all the questions answers are with you. In a short time you will get the paper pattern for first term also.